All right. Welcome to the podcast, guys. And today we have a very, very, very special guest. She's definitely got a lot going on. I've been following her movements. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing. And would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I will. Oh my goodness. I am Seneca Aliyeh, and I definitely would like to show of gratitude and appreciation for you, honestly, allowing me to come and join you on your podcast.
It's the pleasure's all mine. I'm happy you came to hang out. Because it's definitely something. Something cool to just sit down and have one of these podcasts that are real impromptu. Because this was impromptu, guys. I need you to know that this was not
Yes,
planned.
yes. It was like, hey, you want to collab? And we're like, okay, let's do it. Let's get
Yeah,
it done.
she's out there making moves. I see her.
Oh, thank
Like,
you.
yeah, you're working hard. And I definitely want to get a chance to work with you before you get too big.
Oh my goodness! Don't say that. I like kind of fear of me getting too big. I guess I will never realize how big I am, and I guess that's just me being down to earth. You know what I mean? So hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's interesting that you say like not realizing how big you are.
Mhm.
You can't
I
ever
mean,
really put a cap on yourself, and it's hard not to as a human. You look at something and you might say, hey, this is too high,
mm,
but is it really?
I mean, it depends. Like when it comes to me or thinking of like other people, like really successful people or really famous people, they're always down to earth. And I study the greats. That's the one thing that I do in my free time or the time that I do have. I go back and I study the greats. I watch interviews. I will watch documentaries about them, and the majority of the time they don't realize how big they are. They'll just understand that they're on a mission to do something, but they don't realize how big they are or how quote unquote famous they are. They're just doing things that they love, and that's
Exactly.
just it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could really say that how big you are is really a subject of public perception, right?
Absolutely. Definitely. And it's subjective.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean to be big? Like, what does it mean to be famous? What does it mean to be big? What does it mean to be lit? What does it mean to be all of these things?
Very true. And the thing you got to think about here is life isn't a race. Because you got to
Mm.
look at the people who are like 80, 90 years old. If we're really counting life as a race, we pretty much already lost to a good percentage of people who may be leaving us in the next 2 to 3 years. So you got to think about it like that. I mean, I know that's a real grim way to put it, but let's just be real.
And we can go and we can say this, like the people who are 80, 90 years old, just think of all the regret that they had from not doing what it is that they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, think
Mhm.
of the regret of them saying, "Oh, I should have took that trip. Oh, I should have took that risk. Oh, I should have gone there." Or even as simple as, "Oh, I should have said that to that person." Like,
Mhm.
my sole purpose is not to live a life of regret. It's to be who I am and to express myself the best way that I can and live a life without any regrets and just have fun doing it. That's why life is here, is to have fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And it's funny that you say that. Like, I actually work the customer service field doing, I help people out with issues with their modem.
Mm,
And it's crazy. You run into a lot of older folks, and a lot of them go from any range of, "Hey, there's something wrong with my modem. Could you help me out?" To, "I don't know what's going on with my modem. You need to fix it. I pay too much damn money for you to not have my modem working." When I'm not the person who broke their modem. I didn't come in and break their modem. I didn't. But that's a whole nother subject. We could talk
correct.
about that all day. The whole
Uh-huh.
thing is their whole general way of being is if they're upset. It bothers me. You know, you can often see these traits in younger folks that often walk around angry, upset all the time. Understand that there's a parallel that exists in the older generation as well for that. And they didn't just sprout up old acting like that. They grown to become that.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Like I would agree with you on that. And most of the times, like I was having this conversation actually earlier today about like the younger generation or the youth behind us and them being upset or angry or wanting to live into that insta everything. Like they want things as of yesterday. But a majority of the time when I do speak to the youth or get an opportunity to speak to the youth, or like if I not speak like as in a group, but if I see someone and I'll just talk to them and just have a conversation with them because I want to know what's going on in your head, what's going on in your mind, like what is it you're going through. And half of the time the youth, they just want to be heard, they want to be respected, they want to be treated as equal, and they just want to know that people care about them. You get what I mean? And that is like a mission that I'm on, is to make sure that the content or the work that I do create, that it'll be able to help inspire the youth or the generations behind me to at least do good in their life. And I'm also a firm believer in that your content that you create, whatever it is going to help shift a generation or help shift generations to come. And that's the purpose of being a creative. Because with this podcast, you never know who may say, hey, I want to create a reaction to this podcast. And then they start doing reaction channels and they start creating a brand, quote unquote, or a business just based off this podcast, you know? So that's like the goal in my head, is create as much. Someone will probably create their own business off of the content that gets created.
Yeah. So. That's a beautiful way and a beautiful thing to think about. I'm glad that you're taking that stance when going down this journey of podcasting.
Thank you.
You know, you're really on the right foot starting out. Cause I'll tell you this, we started out on some bullshit.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me, I want to hear more. Tell me more. What was like the BS on the podcast?
Well, you know, I mean, you know, we would cover things like recent events and stuff like that. And you know, we're currently going through a rebrand right now because that's not what I originally set out and envisioned. You know, because it's not really, you know, you can chat about the news and recent events and stuff like that, but that could be for a whole nother thing. You know, right. I really wanted to attack like a lot of the mindset of the youth, like you said, like because they're definitely going down a path that I just don't agree with. We're seeing well, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm caught up in times or anything like that, because I know that times have progressed. Like what's considered acceptable 10 years ago is now unacceptable now. For example, like, you know, just to show you how far I've come as far as like being politically correct at the same time being true to myself. Like when I was growing up, going to clubs and stuff like that, used to go behind the chick and just kind of like be like, yo, I got you, grab her. If she look back and she's still twerking, then it's a go. You do that nowadays? Oh, that's probably rape. I mean, I don't know. I hadn't been in a club in ages, but I don't think I feel as comfortable as I did 10 years ago, just going behind a woman and grabbing her without introducing myself, saying hello. And that's a good thing.
Correct. It shows how times have changed and shifted. And even with that example, it's like we're becoming aware. I guess it goes back to who was the person that created content around that issue or that problem and wanted a solution. And now we're able to sit here and speak about what's going on with that topic and create more content behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, times have definitely changed. And when it comes to influencing the youth in any way, I will be so honest with you. And I heard this growing up is lead by example. Because we can talk till we're blue in the face to the youth and say, hey, you got to do this, you have to do that. They're not listening. they're listening a little bit, but what they're actually looking at is what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's like, so you tell me not to do this thing, but you turn around and you do it. I can't trust anything that you say. So no, you consistently do the opposite, because they understand that we're human and we definitely make mistakes. That's something that I believe that the generation behind us, that the youth understand, is it's okay to make mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes. They're just living their life and figuring it out. And so my thing is, if you're consistently doing the opposite of what you're saying, they're not going to trust anything that comes out your mouth. And I wouldn't blame them either. But if you're consistently putting your best foot forward, doing your best, and putting out quality and content, the youth, they're slow to come around. But once you have their attention, you have it. And that in that moment, that's when you have to make sure that you're doing your mission of making sure you're leaving the generation behind you better than leaving it better because of you.
Yeah.
I know that's a mouthful. I know that's a mouthful. I like to talk about topics like this and how do we help the youth, because if this is what I learned in my journey. When I was doing things just for me, like, oh, I want to be quote unquote quote successful because I want to live a certain way, I was less motivated to do anything. You know, I'm human. I have my moments, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want to do it. I'll put it off until tomorrow. I'll put it off until today or later on today. But when I said, okay, I need something external, I decided that I need a why. I need something bigger than myself in order for me to keep with me being consistent of who I am and making sure that I'm very conscious of what I do, what I say, how I speak, where I go, how I act in certain situations, because of the youth. And that was when I said, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing what it is I'm doing. And now I'm motivated and I'm inspired to actually create content and things like that. I am. And to be honest with you, the reason why I started my podcast is because you had your podcast. And I was like, dang, he got a podcast. I said, so let me get a podcast and see what I can do with a podcast. Because I had no idea about podcasting. I know I listened to them, but I was clueless. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I like, and speaking of your pod, and thank you for saying that, but I really felt like it was gonna be the natural occurrence for you anyway. Even if you hadn't heard mine, it just seemed like it just would have happened for you because that's where you were leaning towards with I've seen a lot of your motivational speaking videos. I like to call them, you never labeled them motivational speaking videos, but they feel like motivational speaking videos to me when I look at them. So I was like, yeah, you definitely should. You know, I think I was going to come to you with the conversation about you having one if you wasn't thinking about it already, because it seems like it's the perfect thing for you.
Oh, wow. Oh gosh, that oh wow. Okay, that makes I'm a feel blushing. I'm very honored that you said that, and so with you saying that let me know that what I'm doing, I'm on the right path. Like this is it. Like I may not be able to sit in front of a video as of yet and record and do the selfies and everything, but podcasting, I can do that, and I'm very comfortable with podcasting. But just hearing you say it, that means, okay, you're on to something. Like just run with it.
Run with it, yo. And I even feel like you should definitely, do a little bit of all that. Like, I think you should keep those videos coming because, the biggest thing about, and this is what I regret that I didn't implement in the podcast. I'm going to get it to happen eventually, but the visuals, once you get the visuals to where like when you're conveying your thought, people can see the emotion in your face. When you pause, they can see what can't be heard, And then also, I got the radio, you put it on the SoundCloud and everything else for people driving so they don't crash and die. But
yes.
Yeah. So, it's gonna be a cool thing, man. I think you're gonna do excellent.
Oh my gosh, this is, oh my gosh, like I'm oh my goodness, thank you so much, because I'll be so honest with you. I was really thinking like, oh my gosh, do I really honestly want to do a podcast? Out of all things, I was really thinking that, like, do I really want to do a podcast? And then I'm like, okay, I was going to stop it because I don't I was being ungrateful because I was like, dang, I didn't go viral yet. And I'm like, you know what? Let me stop worrying about that and just appreciate that my podcast is being listened to, and hopefully someone will definitely get a message from that podcast. Because yeah, my podcast, I feel like that is me at my core. That is me being honest and authentic. Like, if I did something, I'm gonna own up to it. I reached a point in my life to where I'm not about to sugarcoat anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I did it, I did it, and I'm gonna admit that I do it. If I did it, if I didn't do it, or whatever. So nobody else won't make the same mistake that I made or have to go through the same thing that I went through.
Yeah, that's mighty big of you.
Thank you.
I think as far as like the viewership thing, and that's something that I struggled with at first too. You know, and it goes back to how big is big, how far is far, and a lot of people feel like either. And I'm glad you realize that it's not like this now, but I'm just saying this is for those who don't. Like, it's not either you go big or you go home.
Uh-huh.
Because there's all type of levels you could fall in between that could shift at any moment. If you take a look at all those people getting those major viewerships, they had humble, small beginnings. Like, I always like to look at some of the bigger YouTubers and go all the way back to like their first video. And then you start to see some similarities, some correlations between what you have going on, what they have going on. And to be honest, a lot of this is just timing and placement.
Okay.
If you got the talent, you already got the product. All you got to do is get the timing and the placement. And that's something I've yet to master. But I know that that's the key to going, shifting your levels.
You said if you have the you said if you have the talent, all you need is the timing and the placement, and that'll do the rest.
That'll do the rest. I sat down long and thought about it, and depending on what you're doing, like for the news thing, that's what made me totally get that out of the podcast altogether, because the podcast is like, once, maybe twice a week. It's gonna probably be like twice a week this week.
Okay.
And when you get that out of there, you get more time for stuff like this. And that's a great thing. And I've just pretty much put the news to where I'm pumping it out 3 and 4 minutes at a time. It was like 4-minute long videos and stuff. So, that way you're still getting your news from me, because that's what my original viewership was really liking. But now you're getting that extra content. So you're getting me on a regular basis with the news 4 minutes at a time. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm just tell you what happened, tell you what I think, bada boom, bam, out. I'm not going to beat the horse till it's dead.
Correct.
So, you're still getting your news and stuff. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Got a little news thingy thing I worked on. I'll talk a little graphics and shit. So check that out if you hadn't already, because Safari is fucking up. But yeah.
Yeah, go check it out. Go and check it out. Trust me, check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Dang, oh my goodness. Like that. Speaking of humble beginnings. Speaking of humble beginnings. Pardon me, that's my cat in the back. Be quiet. Be quiet. But yeah, speaking of humble beginnings. Humble beginnings. We go like way back.
Way
Like
back.
way back. Way back. We used to live for the viewers, for the listeners, we used to live across the street from each other.
Yeah, I could see your house from my window.
Yep. And I could see your house from my window. And we had a mutual friend. But between, like, it was so wild. It's a very small world. I'll definitely say that. It's definitely like a small world.
I got some
I'll say
crazy. So I could tell. I kind of want to go into the whole story about how
that.
we initially met and stuff like that. It was funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, please, because I don't like. It's kind of foggy, but I don't remember. Please remind me. Refresh my memory.
Well,
Oh
my
my
mutual
gosh.
friend, our mutual friend basically told me, hey, you know, it's this chick I've been really liking, and you happen to stay in the same neighborhood as her. And I'm like, really? Are you serious? And I didn't know where, this chick stayed.
Hmm.
So then we pretty much like I think somehow you figured it out. I'm not sure. But I think I seen you one day and I was just like, hey, you know my mutual friend? And then you were like, yeah, I know your mutual friend. I'm like, yeah, well, he told me to tell you, he said, hey, or something like that. And this is during the time when Nokia Metro PCSs were popping.
Yes. What?
You could
When
drop
you had
those
like
phones
this.
1,000 times.
Yes, and then you had the snake on there. That was the OG, the original cell phone game with Snake.
Oh,
With
yeah.
Snake. Oh my gosh.
You kids and
Yes.
Angry Birds, you don't know nothing.
Nothing about Snake.
That was the shiznit.
Man, oh my goodness, that was so funny. And I think it was, I always stayed to myself. I was like always outside somewhere because I love being outside in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember you stopping me, and I was like, "What is this guy stopping me for?" And of course, I'm kind, so I'm like, I stopped, and you said, "Hey, do you know my mutual friend?" And I was like, "Yeah." But I was like, why am I like, what is going on here? And then, because I thought you were like attempting to get with me and then just name drop, and I was like, okay, no, this is
Yeah.
actually legitimate. So,
No, you guys can't see it, but she's a very pretty young lady. So,
oh.
she has to be wary of men doing things like that, Historically, she had to be wary of it. So I'm just throwing
Oh
that out there.
okay. Oh my gosh, thank you.
No problem, no problem.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, and it's just so beautiful to see like the growth in the places that we are now.
Oh yeah. You were always on like some really mature stuff though. You was always real cool and very, very level headed all the time. And you always kept the vibe very cool. Like I remember there's one time I was like really sick over losing my first girlfriend or some shit like that. Nowadays I ain't really studying that chick like that.
No,
But, this is like ninth grade. I'm like sick. Y'all come over with some Waffle House, and I'm like, what?
we brought you some Waffle House because at that time, like Waffle House, we gonna cheer you up. So we gonna get you some Waffle House because Waffle House should do the trick.
Oh, it does. You can't ever get mad at those cheesed eggs.
Come on, them hash browns smothered, slathered, stacked, chopped, stirred, fried, slide without that's the Waffle House for the hash browns.
I'll tell you this, I didn't eat anything for like 3 days prior to that. But when that Waffle House came, I ate every bit of it.
Exactly. See, we knew it. And I think the mutual friend and I, we were like, yo, let's just bring him some food. Probably me, because I like food, so I was like, yo, let's just bring him some food. Like, it'll cheer him up. It cheers me up. So it has to work. And
yeah. You guys sat out there while I ate the waffle and the food and was chatting with me. It was a real cool moment. You guys really helped me get through that, and I appreciate you for it.
oh my gosh, thank you. That makes me so happy. Like, when my thing is like, when somebody is going through something, I just knew at the time, like, I may not be able to help entirely, but I can at least do something, because oftentimes, when people are really going through something, you don't know how well that person is able to manage what they're going through, and how the situation is affecting them. Because you could have been like, listen, my first girlfriend, she's gone. And you could have been to the extreme of, hey, you know what? There isn't a reason to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be contemplating hurting yourself, hurting someone else. So my thing is, at least let him know that there are people who actually care, even if it's just bringing some food, because anything could have happened in that moment. And I've seen where people, break up or leave a relationship, and it's to the extreme. Like, they go into depression, they go into stalking the ex, they go into destroying property. And so, to avoid all of that, I'm just like, maybe if this person just knew that we cared, then they wouldn't be like this.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I totally agree, because, it was definitely something I never experienced before. And, I lost a friend over it and all this other stuff. Long story. I'm not going to get into that.
No.
But yeah, we even had one adventure to where when, us and our mutual friend, we all went to the movie theater. But prior to that,
yeah,
stopped at a little eatery called Applebee's.
Oh gosh, that was like the play. Oh my gosh, yes, Applebee's, of course. Okay. Oh my goodness, bringing back memories. Oh my goodness.
This is back when North DeKalb Mall, and that's a mall in Georgia for all my people listening outside of the state. North DeKalb Mall was the most poppin'est mall ever. It had Applebee's there. It had Challengers, which was an arcade. And it was the coolest hangout spot for all the young kids.
Yes, and of course you would go to the movies after you ate your Applebee's and hung out. Oh my gosh. What did we go see? What did we go see? Like, it's kind of foggy. Like, I remember being all of us being there, but it's so foggy.
I'll tell you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Because I was watching that movie very well. It was Fighting Temptations.
Oh my gosh, yo. We went to go see Fighting Temptations?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Film.
Okay.
I still don't know what that movie was about. I can't tell you what the movie. I watched every bit of it too. That's what makes it so bad. But what basically happened was we were going to the movies after. Well, we didn't even all go to Applebee's. I pretty much went in there and ordered fucking shrimp Alfredo to go, with the intent of sneaking it into the movie theater because you had a very large purse.
Of course. Listen. If you listen, this is how you get food in the movie theaters. You bring a big purse. And even to this day, I'm coming in with a big purse full of my snacks and my food. I have no shame. So yes, I've been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
Quite a long time. And you got that shrimp Alfredo into that movie theater, didn't you?
Oh yeah. It was no problem. They didn't even bat an eyelash. And I was like, hey, we're in here and I'm gonna crack this thing. Now that's the craziest part. Because it was contained all the way up until we got in there. I think you even had it wrapped in like a jacket of yours or something like that.
I sure did.
And when we unwrapped it, it was still hot. I went ahead and popped that lid and it just smoked up. I mean, people were looking and I didn't care.
Yes, because they're like, wait, they don't sell like pasta in here. That's nothing from the movie theater. And listen, the thing about it, let me tell your listeners what happened, what you didn't do. Okay. So mind you, I'm up here taking the risk of sneaking in some shrimp Alfredo into the movie theaters. After I had to make room in my purse to fit the Alfredo in, I wanted just a little bit of shrimp Alfredo. Right. Do you think I honestly got any shrimp Alfredo? No, absolutely not. No, I didn't get not one piece of shrimp, not even a noodle.
I could have gave you like one shrimp. I know, but it
I
was
even
just,
asked you for one shrimp. I said, give me one, at least one shrimp. And you was like, mm-mm. And you kept eating your food and watching the movie. I was like, oh my gosh.
I was a I was a very fat kid during that time. You know, it's two things I wouldn't share: shrimp Alfredo and funnel cake. So if you were looking to get some of either of those from me, you're better off asking for one of my Reese's. But nowadays, I mean, I really regret that decision. I was just telling them,
What?
I was sitting in there eating some shrimp Alfredo that cost less than some of those people's popcorn, and
Oh, oh, okay. Right. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right because it did cost less than that popcorn there. You absolutely doggone right.
because this was during the time before they were cooking meals and bringing them to you in movie theaters. I know that's what a lot of the young kids are used to.
Yes.
Understand it was hard for us. We either had to get those $6 Reese's pieces
Yep.
or the popcorn or the nachos for like $10. I don't know how
Yes.
much nachos was because I didn't even look at the nachos. It was just a
Twelve
waste of time.
dollars. $12.
Twelve
It was
dollars for some
yes,
motherfucking.
yes, not that didn't even come with a drink. That did not come with a drink. But yes, they were 12. They were expensive. And you only got a little bit of cheese.
When no meat in there, this shit's like.
Nope. You was extra. You was really upset because you were upset. Trust me. Spending $12 for some soggy nachos with a little bit of cheese and then extra cheese cost. So it was like, you know what? Whatever.
Not us. Well, not me.
Mm-mm.
Not me that day because I was like shrimp Alfredo.
Like he would. Okay. The thing about it, you had to be so different. Like everyone else, we went to get like some fast food, something that we can easily put in my purse if need be, and we knew we couldn't bring the drink in. You decided shrimp Alfredo. And we were like, what? Like, are you serious? You're like, yeah, I want my shrimp Alfredo.
I had enough dough for it. You know, I could have went the way that you went, but I was like, yeah, you know. And I appreciate you for noticing though, you know, because there's nothing wrong with having shrimp Alfredo in a movie theater, you know. Yeah, I
It
should
isn't.
try sometime.
Let's see.
But yeah, you know, I thought that was just a funny story we would share with you guys a little bit. You know, just to let you know exactly how far back we go. Back to when Nokias were popping.
Back to
Nokia.
no. Gosh, I feel like I'm just explaining my age or telling my age. I'm just gonna have people guess what my age is. But yeah, back when Nokia's, oh my gosh, were popping right when Metro PCS started to come out.
Oh
The
yeah.
first, yeah, the first, like I think it was a Kyocera, like way back.
I had one of those shits. It had the world's smallest screen on that shit.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my gosh, that's how way back we go. And now we're here today. That's a blessing and it's amazing and it's good.
It's the
It's good.
best thing. Like coming being in 2018 is a whole nother atmosphere for everything.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very different. It's to me, I would honestly say this, and I'll keep saying this, that the people who did all of the hard work before us has made it so much easier for us now because we are, we are grouped as millennials. Like even you and I, we are millennial. Even if we don't want to say that we are not a millennial, we're a millennial.
Mm.
Yeah. So all the hard work that everyone else did before us, I'm just so appreciative because now it's so easy for us to literally create our own businesses, our own brand, become influencers, and actually sit and become earn an income off of YouTube, off of doing something that you love and just recording it. Be a
Oh,
star of your own reality. Be a star of your own reality show.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if it's just to the point to where YouTube and I hear this from the customer standpoint, like most people in the northeastern Eastern division really watch YouTube more than TV at this point.
Oh,
You know, they're complaining about their internet because they can't access their YouTube because it's an internet based program. So it's crazy how like and as cable providers and internet providers, we're battling to put cable in these houses.
Yeah, before a time, cable was everywhere. Like, remember when you wanted cable? Remember you had that hot box
Oh
for the
yeah.
cable?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, had the hot box. And when the cable man came, you had to hide the hot box.
Had to hide it.
You had to hide. And just for the newer generation or anyone who doesn't know what a hot box is, because there are different terms for hot box. But hot box was actually an illegal cable box that you got from the connect from a plug.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's like having those little strawberry candies. You're like, where did these come from? Like what?
What?
Like what?
I never thought about that before. Where the fuck do the strawberry candies
Right, exactly. You don't know where they come from, but they just always there in that little candy jar. And you're like, yo, what is this? What is this now? But yeah, so the hot box was like an illegal cable box. And the thing about it, the cable company, I don't know how they found out that you were running cable, but they found out you were running cable and they would come to your house to see, like, I don't know, to see if you were running cable or something. But yeah.
I'll be like, what you gonna do if I am? Like,
exactly, you gonna leave. But nowadays it's Fire Stick. So basically, that's what the hot box. Before there was Fire Stick, there was a hot box.
That's what it was. That was our generation's Fire Stick.
Oh boy, come on.
Even though they're still grouping us with your generation or their generation, because I guess I'm kind of talking to them at this point. I feel like I should have been talking to y'all like around the time when that Jerk song came out. I should have really been talking to y'all.
What? Oh my goodness, hold on. I want to go a little bit further. Oh my goodness, a little further before that. Oh my gosh. I think right when because I don't know if that song came out and then like Instagram came out or whatever. Don't know when Instagram started. But right around when I first saw Instagram, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to definitely be something. And it can definitely be like, it can either be good or it can either be bad. But when I first saw Instagram, I said, oh yeah, we're going to be in trouble right as of right now.
Yeah. And that's really what really, I think it was really more of it begun when the Jerk Boys came out, and then it begun when that Party Rock, I think, what is that? What's the name of that group with the Party Rock is in the house tonight?
LMAFO, I think. Party Rock is in the house tonight.
Yeah, those guys. I hated those guys.
Oh my gosh, they had me party rocking. You sexy and you know it. Dun. But yeah, and oh my, I don't know. It's just very different. It's very different. The TV programs are different. If you ever just click on TV and just mute it, you'll be astonished of like what is going on your TV.
Oh yeah.
You will.
Oh yeah.
And I can go on and that's a different subject. That's a different day. Different day. But what I can say is I can't blame anyone. I can't shun anyone. I can't talk down on anyone for expressing who they are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing what it is that they have to do. And they actually help create content for other people to create content to kind of how do I say this? To counteract what they're doing, basically. It may take us longer to quote unquote become lit or pop or whatever it is that happens. Mm-hmm. But once we in there and you don't go anywhere. Like we're there for good and you know it. It's go ahead.
I was gonna say I like that you said that. Because thing about it is this whole podcasting thing and stuff like that is crazy. Because we're definitely gonna get ready to wrap this thing up.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
because it's gonna wrap up for us in a little while.
We don't even have a choice. It's just gonna click. Listen, you're gonna hear dee, 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 and it's just gonna click, and it's like, okay, it's time for y'all to go. So
This is that ghetto podcast, you know.
Hello. But guess what? Guess what this podcast for your listeners, because I am a person just the I don't know how much time that we have, but I'll definitely say this, make this key point. We are literally doing this podcast using our everyday resources that we have. Literally, I'm using my phone and some headphones, and we're creating a podcast.
Yeah.
What are you using? What are you using to create this?
A USB headset along with the condenser mic. So I'm cheating a little bit, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm cheating a little bit.
Yes.
You know, I could use the phone too.
Right. But the thing is, there shouldn't be any excuse on why you can't create anything. You get what I'm saying? Anything. You have to start somewhere. But there shouldn't be any excuse of why you can't create anything or create a podcast or a video or anything. So yeah, I just want to leave that little tidbit, but swing it back to you.
To elaborate on what you said, and I'm gonna let you have the final word before we go, but I just want to say this.
Okay.
To elaborate on what she just said, you got to stop listening to that part of you that tells you, hey, you're going too far. There's the boundary. There's the wall. Don't say hi to that girl. Don't ask her out. You know, don't listen to that guy. That guy is going to keep you away from what's called opportunity. That guy is blocking that person called opportunity. So always ignore that guy.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh my gosh, definitely. And with that, I just got inspired, like something just overcame. You're just like, oh my goodness. With that being said, you can't listen. And I'll be so totally honest with you, because like I said, I'm not here to, be something that I'm someone I'm not. You have to get to a point, like we as people, we have to get to a point to where it's like you don't care what anyone else say, think, or feel about you. And I'll tell you this, what my parents have always told me: how someone else feels about you is none of your business. It's none of your business. Like, yeah, that person doesn't like you because you did this or you did that, or that person may not even know you and feel a certain kind of way about you. But guess what? That's none of your business what that person feels about you. Because half of the time, no, a majority of the time, it's not what you're doing. It's a reflection of how they feel about themselves, about what they think of themselves. Like, people will use projection. Like, this is another thing I learned. If you ever want to know how someone really feels about themselves, ask them to talk about somebody else, to describe somebody else. And just listen to the words that they're saying. Are they saying, oh yeah, I can't mess with this person. This person is fake, phony, lie, and a thief? You need to watch. You need to be careful, because it take one to know one. So if they're describing this person, you better believe that they're more than likely they're going to be describing themselves. Now, if that person is saying, oh, that's a kind person, that's someone who's good, that's a person that has a good heart, that's a person who's about their business, that's a person who's on the move, they're often probably describing themselves. So be mindful of that. And to know you're going to have haters. You're going to have haters till the day that you go. It is what it is. But how they feel about you is none of your business. You can either take what they say with a grain of salt, or you could take what they say and you can glow up from it. Like, your haters are going to put you, if you know how to use what they say wisely, they're going to put you on point. Because they can be hating and say, oh, y'all think y'all all that, y'all sitting up here using headphones and a da-da-da-da-da. Oh, okay, well, you know what? Let me upgrade and get some better material to see what else I can use. You got to choose wisely. But let your haters be your motivators. And remember, at the end of the day, it don't matter what nobody say about it. It's none of your business. 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 Okay, I just went on my little rant.
No, you're speaking the knowledge, and I want you guys to soak it in like a sponge.
Yes, soak it in and listen to this podcast, and definitely sit the second time, listen to this podcast over and over again. Because the first time you probably just be listening to it and kind of grasping the messages, but definitely go in and listen to the podcast again a second time. And if you're able to sit down and take notes on your phone, or if you write them down, take notes and actually soak up this knowledge.
Yeah, you
These
dropping
life
bombs.
experience. Yeah, we're dropping, but this is life experience. We're not sitting up here talking about some stuff that we've seen on TV, or I mean, we probably are, but we're talking about a life experience. We're talking about things we have gone through that we don't want no one else to go through, or if they're going through them, how do they get through them? We're talking about real life experiences.
Mm.
So yeah, there I am. I'm gonna keep on ranting, but yeah, that's it.
Hey, before you go, I
Yes.
want you to shout out your social media. Let them know where you're at.
Okay, definitely. So my social media is my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter is Seneca Aliyeh, which is spelled Seneca, Aliyeh, Aliyeh. And my second channel for the podcast is Aliyeh X, which is Aliyehx. And so that's how you can get in contact with me, tweet me, DM me, tag me in a post. Let me know how you feel about the podcast that we're doing. And
Yeah. I really want you guys to go check her out. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because it's gonna be nice. You're definitely getting a lot of content here. So with that being said, we're gonna get ready to close it on out. I want you guys to stay motivated, stay cool, and it's your boy King Kimo out. She's out too. We're out.
later.